From the isolation station to the Pacitti Palace, it's Cultaholic Wrestling News. Good morning, mate.
Morning, Tom. How are you?
Doing all right, thank you. Well, it's a busy day, isn't it?
Lot going on in the world of wrestling today, and a lot of it not very nice either, so this will be a hoot and holler.
Hey, mate, I'm just glad that we got back together to talk about the fun stuff. That's
nice to see you.
It's nice to see you.
Yes, it is.
Here is the wrestling news. WWE fire a senior staff member. We have an update following WWE's Q1 financial call, and Undertaker has clarified those soft comments he made last year. We'll get to that in a bit. By now, you may have heard the news that former WWE Talent Relations Director Mark Carrano has been fired. What's the timeline of events over the last few hours then, Adam?
So, late last night, Mickie James put a tweet out showing that she had received her belongings back from WWE. Stuff that was left with WWE was returned to her. However, it wasn't gift wrapped, or I guess it was in a way, but it was gift wrapped in black plastic. They sent her stuff back in a black bin bag, in a garbage bag, if you will. And this is somebody that's obviously been with the company for an awful long time, over various stints, a veteran of the business, and here's your stuff back in a black bin bag with just your first name on a bit of sticky tape. And she wasn't the only person, apparently, from the recently released WWE Superstars that received their belongings back in such a way. And so she tweeted out, tagging Vince McMahon in the tweet, and then reports started circulating that a release had been made by WWE, the person responsible for this, which was later clarified by Triple H, who tweeted, "Upon learning of the disrespectful treatment some of our recently released talent received on behalf of the company, we took immediate action. The person responsible for this inconsiderate action has been fired and is no longer with WWE." He is, of course, talking about Mark Carrano, WWE's former senior director of talent relations. It was reported that when Johnny Ace came back, he was demoted. But now, there you go, he's gone from the company, and he's been there for a long time, and he's not been without his fair share of criticism in the past also, Tom.
No, quite a few people have come forward and had their own opinions, not very positive, of Mark Carrano. Gail Kim putting out a tweet saying, "I know WWE trolls are going to come for me, but Mark was not a good human being. I don't think he should necessarily get blamed for this incident, but I hope this karma makes him realise and wake up. Be a nice human. Maybe things will change for you." Fred Rosser, the former Darren Young, put out a tweet saying, "I was constantly harassed by him about losing my job. I just stayed quiet." CM Punk simply putting out a quote tweet with an "oh damn" type reaction attached to it. Short and sweet in GIF form from CM Punk, returning to WWE confirmed. Stephanie McMahon actually tweeted Mickie James directly, saying, "Mickie James, I'm embarrassed you or anyone else would be treated this way. I apologise personally and on behalf of WWE. The person responsible is no longer with our company." John Laurinaitis has also put out a tweet to a similar effect, as we heard just there, Triple H. When more comes out about this, we will keep you up to date via cultaholic.com. All of this stuff breaking just as the lads at head office in WWE hung up on their Q1 financial call. This was a way of sort of celebrating the great things that WWE have been doing a week after sacking a load of people, and with all that going on in the background as well. So got a few notes from this. It's not massively number crunchy. I know sometimes when we say Q1 financial call, we do this. Stay there. There's stuff that you're going to want to hear from this. We're not doing numbers, I promise.
We'll do the bullet points. We'll get it out there. So Vince said that the pandemic allowed them to open the WWE treasure chest. And also praised the current team that they've got, saying it's the best management team in WWE history.
Except Mark Carrano.
Should laugh. Khan, by the way, Nick Khan, talking about the recent sports media deals and how they continue to go up in revenue, so they're making good money there. He said that separating linear and streaming rights with regard to pro sports appears to be over for now. He clarified as well something that has been speculated upon for a little while, that they will be pursuing WWE Network licensing deals in other countries, as they have done with Peacock in the US. So they'll be, I imagine, pretty aggressively looking at those, just because the financials for them have been amazing. They made a huge amount of money, obviously, with that Peacock deal. Also, an interesting note, Khan said that they'd signed a deal with Crunchyroll for an anime series. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about this, Tom, so have you got some colour to add to this? What the hell is Crunchyroll? I should know this.
Netflix for anime, essentially. It's basically where if you want to watch anime stuff long before it gets a proper show in the UK, you can go via Crunchyroll, and a lot of stuff gets put on there with
that's awesome.
With
good
British
news
translations
for virgins everywhere. Also, I'm kidding.
You laugh, but you're going to watch that Keith Lee anime when it drops. You're going to be there. You're going to be there.
So yeah, that's all good stuff. And he was talking about how strong Young Rock had been, and the Steve Austin A&E biography did the highest number for the network in 16 years. Apparently, Stephanie McMahon saying they brought in or retained 14 sponsors for WrestleMania 37. I wish they made a bigger deal of the Snickers thing, to be honest, in the main event, personally. And also a really interesting stat here for those who have criticised Bad Bunny before he had the match, obviously, because you can't really critique him anymore, that's for sure, or criticise him, rather. Stephanie McMahon saying that Bad Bunny's Raw appearances helped them increase 31% with the Hispanic demographic, which is amazing, which is like the impact that he's had there with that very highly sought after demographic, a demographic that WWE has struggled in recent years to tap into. That's awesome. I think that's really, really cool.
It's also seen a 21% increase of people on Twitter saying, I've never heard of Bad Bunny. So that's good news as well.
Other minor takeaways from this, Khan is saying that their viewership numbers are robust and that linear content is a challenge for everyone rather. They really sort of stress that obviously things aren't back to normal yet, and the difficulties continue. But the biggest takeaway, perhaps, is the multiple references that were made to an upcoming large-scale international event, which probably indicates a return to Saudi Arabia, following reports this week that they're going to be back there before the end of the year. So look forward to that too.
I'm excited to see us back in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. In the comments section, they had a question and answer bit at the very end. Not a whole lot to take away from this. Of course, AEW came up, and Nick Khan said, with regards to NXT moving to Tuesdays, he says, well, everything is competition, not just AEW. He says all they want to do is attract eyeballs to what they do. Talked about NBC and NHL parting ways soon, so a Tuesday move was kind of impacted by them, not so much AEW, whatever, Trevor. Also says their viewership numbers are robust. Linear content is a challenge for everyone, he says. Yeah. And there's lots of other stuff to take away from there. I think there is. They also said that obviously when it comes to this large scale event, this is something that we talked about a bit yesterday as well. I'm glad they've also announced plans to return to live event touring locally, as opposed to, because I had this horrible feeling that they were going to announce, or we don't know when we're going back on the road yet, but Saudi Arabia's coming up. I was like, you've got to announce your American return date before that. But I think that all seems all right. We finish on story from The Undertaker, which goes back to comments that he made following the Last Ride documentary and the media tour that he did following that.
Can this be the last time we ever talk about this, Tom?
No. If anything, I'm going to do a documentary about us talking about this. So
this is an interesting update.
It was on the Joe Rogan Experience, where he talked about how WWE stars are now soft. Not in the Enzo sense, but in the sense that they're soft. And quite a few wrestlers sort of spoke up about this. This led to a bit of bad blood between some fans and some wrestlers and The Undertaker. He sat down with Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated and clarified his comments, saying, I wasn't bashing our talent. Our talent is extraordinary. What they're physically able to do, I couldn't imagine doing that back in our day. I have a lot of respect for our roster, but I came from a different time period. My point was, it was tough back then.
That wasn't his point. He's backtracking. I don't have I didn't agree with that Taker's comments. I don't have a massive problem with it. He's an old timer, you know what I mean? And I'm certainly not taking anything away from him. Obviously, all the respect in the world, but that isn't what he said in the game.
No, it's really not. It's really not. And then he goes on to say, I remember when Triple H first came in, and he was shocked that I had black electrical tape on my boots. Like he's repairing his own gear. It was just a different time. And we didn't have trainers on the road. Undertaker goes on to ramble. If you had torn gear, you either wore it torn or you tried to fix it yourself. We're getting, and if you look very carefully, you can just about see the point Undertaker's making in the distance. I'm so proud to be part of the evolution of our business. The industry has come so far. It's a sign of success and how far we've come. So that clears that up.
Totally. And yeah, I agree that the current WWE roster aren't all pussy ass bitches. So thanks for the clarification, Mark. That's just not what he said. Whatever. It's in the past, isn't it?
Exactly. More news later on. Love you by Friday, 4:00 today, British summertime. Come and chat with me on Twitch. We'll take your calls live to the isolation station. It'll be a lovely time. You never know. Adam Pacitti may turn up and sing again. You never know. What a dream that would be. Remember you did that at Christmas? What a lovely day that was.
How could I forget?
It was the time of our lives.
Tune in. I'll be there.
Stay safe. Love you. Bye.